Everyone on Flight 287 thought it was just another routine flight to Atlanta. Until a 16-year-old black girl clutched her chest and gasped for air, and the flight attendant coldly said, "It's just anxiety." But when her father, whose identity no one knew, took a call, the entire plane learned just how big of a mistake they had made. What happened next? Had every passenger filming? Amara was 16, quiet, polite, and brilliant. She had just come back from a national science competition in Boston. Now she was flying home to Atlanta alone for the first time. Her father, a reserved man with a commanding presence, had kissed her forehead at the gate and reminded her, "Keep your medicine in your carry-on. Don't let it out of your sight." Amara had a rare heart condition. Nothing visibly obvious, but when it flared up, she needed her prescription nitroglycerin spray within minutes. So she followed his instructions. She boarded, placed her carry-on in the overhead bin, and took her seat. Everything seemed fine until halfway through the flight, she started feeling dizzy. Her chest tightened. She stood up and tried to reach her bag, but a flight attendant blocked her. "Miss, please sit. The seatbelt sign is on." Amara gasped. "I need my medicine, please." The flight attendant scoffed. "You're probably just having a little panic attack. Sit down. We'll bring you water." Before Amara could protest, the attendant opened the overhead bin, grabbed Amara's small case, and to the horror of a nearby passenger, threw it into the cabinet near the galley, saying, "I'll give this back after landing. You kids can't just pop pills mid-air." Amara collapsed in her seat, struggling to breathe. The woman in the next row screamed for help. A nurse rushed over from 2 rows back. "She's in cardiac distress. She needs nitroglycerin now." But the flight attendant snapped, "We're handling it." Someone called the captain. That's when Amara pulled out her phone, and with the last bit of energy typed, "They threw away my meds. I can't breathe," and sent it to her father. He didn't just read the message, made one phone call to the FAA. Amara's father was a decorated Air Force general and held advisory clearance with the Department of Homeland Security. The call went straight through. Within 5 minutes, Flight 287 received an emergency reroute command. Passengers stared wide as the plane dropped altitude fast. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're making an emergency landing in Charlotte." When the wheels hit the ground, the terminal was waiting with flashing lights, but not just paramedics. 2 TSA security teams, 3 federal marshals, 1 plainclothes DHS agent. The flight attendant tried to walk off the plane, but was stopped. She looked confused till Amara's father stepped into the cabin. In full uniform, every passenger went silent. The general walked over to his daughter, who was now sitting up, breathing better, thanks to a passenger who had found her bag. Then he turned to the crew and said in a calm, steely voice, "This flight isn't going anywhere until this crew is investigated." Within the hour, the flight attendant was escorted off. The nurse who had helped Amara, she was applauded. So was the woman who filmed everything on her phone.
Amara was okay.
But her story became viral that week, not just because of her condition, but because of how casually it was dismissed. The airline issued a public apology, but more importantly, policies changed. No flight attendant can withhold a passenger's carry-on if it contains medication, thanks to a teenage girl who almost didn't team make it, and a father who grounded an entire plane. If this story moved you, share it with someone who believes in doing the right thing, no matter the rank. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real stories that remind us. Never underestimate quiet strength.